If you find yourself milling or drilling in the fabrication industry, no matter if it's DIY or the professional, this is the one for the books right here. So we're looking at a 12-inch bench top, constant variable speed drill press. Now this is a 110 setup with a 5-amp motor, and so this right here is one nice upgrade compared to the one from the French and Indian War here. So if you look at the functions on this thing is loaded. So one of the things I like off the top of it is this nice clean chuck on it. And when you go to use the key on it, it's actually got an insert piece that's actually collapsible. So it prevents you from forgetting it in there. So that's a very clean chuck on it, as well as the tool with it. So this right here, it's got so many different functions to it. So being a variable speed, so we've got it constant on at 1390 RPMs, and that right there will run. But you can also change that speed to a variable setting, but it'll be locked in at a constant once you set it. So what we're looking at is a depth gauge of about 3 1/4 of an inch here as a full range of travel on it. So that's a pretty nice range. And you've also got a set tool that you can set it to your depth. That way you can repeat that time and time again. But a few other things I like about it, you've got a laser built in on it. So that way you can find center every single time. But if you need a little bit more light, you've also got the light with it too. So to have the light and the laser, that's very nice. So this right here has an adjustment on it. So you actually have a key that you can open up, and then you can rotate this around. And this right here also has the extension on it for about a 6-inch pull on it. So that way, if you need to pull it out and run some stock on it, you've got an extra handle to hold it in place there. So it just keeps getting better. This thing right here has actually got a gear drive on it. Unlike the old one, you actually open it up and you have to twist and move it. But this one, this is on a gear drive. So you can just raise and lower this wherever you need it to. Once you get it in position, you actually lock it down. That way it's not going to move. But another thing that I like about this, it's actually got a couple of set screws on the back side of the shaft on it. So you can set that, or you can remove it, and you can kick that motor over the side of it. So if you need to, drill something taller or so, hey, that's a nice feature in itself right there. So this thing right here on the top side of it, once you open it up, you can see that you've got two pulleys on that. And so this right here, it is a variable speed for the adjustment, but it's locked in once you set it. So this right here, it's just overall, it's a nice kit. And you can check the link down below to find out more details, but you can get the 12-inch or the 10-inch setup here. So another thing is that this right here being rotatable, that you can move this as well as tighten it here on the bottom side of it. But all in all, this thing is pretty sweet here. So this is the DP12VL version. Again, that's a 12-inch, and that's a range from 580 RPMs to 3,200 RPM. So that's your speed range on it. But then if you consider, having a milling table with it, you probably don't want to use it as a milling table because the Jacob chuck probably can't withstand a lot of torque on it. But hey, this milling table will actually mount to the top of your drill press. That way you can move this table forward and backwards, left and right. So basically it would change your Z axis to have the ZXY axis. So this one right here is the large model. So you're talking about, 67 pounds, I believe it was. And they've got a smaller version of it too. But to be able to put this right on top of your bench top plate here, that way you have more range of motion with it. But when you have these right here that you can actually move around, this is a pretty sweet setup. So another thing to mention is that you can actually, drop the set screw on this right here, and you can actually rotate the tray on it around also. So you got multiple functions with this, but overall this is just a very nice piece here. So turn your laser on, get it lined up, set your set screws so it's locked into place, and this right here is centered every single time. So this chuck is going to be a range from 0.8 up to 16 millimeters inside of it, which is a pretty good throat as well as a pretty good bite on it. So check the link down below to find out more details on the 10 or 12-inch drill press, and I'll also put a link down below for the milling working table with this. But one sweet setup, 5-amp 120 volt here, so you even have a display letting you know what the RPM that you're running. What an upgrade, what an upgrade from the French and Indian War.